Right.
Okay, so in terms of the setup, the only real change we're going to make at the setup is your left hand there. Just making sure your left hand is a little bit more over, okay?
Right.
If we can see, if I sort of extend this line up through here now, that's basically going up through the shaft there. Ideally speaking, your thumb should be sort of on or just as we're looking left, as you're looking down to the right. Yeah, to the right. And your sort of wrist joint here, we'd expect to see that kind of on top, right, sorry, that point of your body there should be sort of a bit more on that green line, so a bit more over. That's going to help you get the full range of motion. So your setup's going to be key to enable you to hinge the wrists, and that is where your power, as we say, is going to come from. Okay, if we look at the left hand swing here now, as you go back, we see a lot of leg movement, body movement as you go back, head tilted to the side. Obviously you've swayed off the golf ball an awful long way there, and the club hasn't really hinged at all. So the club hasn't really gone back that far.
No.
Compare that to this one here now on the right. You stay more on top of the golf ball. Look how much further that club's travelled.
Yeah.
So you're staying kind of over the ball rather than over there. Because the further off the ball you move, you've got to kind of move back to the ball to make contact. Otherwise, your club's going to bottom out pretty much there. Okay, and if you're trying to move side to side laterally, what I would say in some ways, you could almost go less rotation on the way back. Okay, because as you come through,
What do you mean?
Don't twist quite so far back, because what you'll see now, this one wasn't too bad to be fair. As you come back to the golf ball, you can keep your wrist hinge there. As you can see, you've got more hinge there still than you have when you're there. So you're still maintaining that angle. That wrist hinge is the sort of storing of power until you unhinge it. And there's that swish at the bottom. So you come back now, swish the club, great strike there, as you can see, a real good contact. But what you'll see now, because your body's not going to want to move through as quickly, because it stays back a little bit, your head's sort of staying down, because you're behind the ball here, looking down here. As you twist through, say your left arm's going to bend now, because your head's still down. Your head's still down, isn't it? Yeah. And that club almost finished its swing, and the head is down. So the more the head stays down, what you will find is, if I sort of exaggerate this grin, okay, from here, if I'm back there, if I keep my head down, it can't really go anywhere. Good, bad, bad back, or whatever it may be. So if we go back a little bit less, and perhaps a little bit more through, that for me will be a better movement to try and encourage, okay? So it doesn't feel quite so much of a tense movement going back and then let it go through that way, rather than going back maybe further than you need to, and then staying back here because you can't quite get out of your way. So if the head stays down, even though your range of motion, you said not too bad to the neck, the head staying down, how far can your body really go? And you'll see it again a little bit. That movement on the right hand side we can see here now looks quite sort of narrow, doesn't it, in terms of the arms and the body. Whereas if we go back to your backswing here, that's quite a wide position. That's a lot further from your head there, the hands there.
That's good.
That's good, yeah, that's great. Ideally the same on the way through. So we look to try and see, if I was swinging with just my left arm now, there to there. What you've got is, because it can't go there, because if my left hand goes here, my body's back here, my right hand can't keep hold of the golf club, can it? So we can get a little bit less back and just maybe get a bit more of a twist through. And again, that's something you might have to play about with, to sort of see how much or how little you can turn and rotate. So you'll kind of find a best swing for you. But basically focusing on the only way you're going to get power successfully for you is going to be that hinge of the wrist and get that snap at the bottom. Right. That's where you get club head speed, not a big lunge back here and moving the body. And that in some ways is a lot with a lot of golfers. A lot of people try to get their body to work quicker and the club works slower. Think about it, if I had a bit of cotton thread with a small weight on the end and I held them between my two fingers and doing that with my hand's working quite slowly and that thing would be whizzing around like a propeller blade on a helicopter, wouldn't it? If I then did that with my hand, it would just completely fall apart, wouldn't it? It's not body speed or body movement. For a lot of people, just that club head speed. And even a small sort of, if I get half decent contact, even just that there can get me 50 yards just by going there to there, and unhinge the wrist that way is going to be far more beneficial than a big lunge here and then can't get anything back to the golf ball. So
how far potentially, once I get that right, would I be able to hit the ball?
I would say you'd probably get to at least 150 with a driver, which is certainly playable.
Is that right?
I mean, if you're in the 7-iron there 80 yards, maybe 90, a couple went towards 100, based on that kind of rough guesstimate, you'd be looking at probably a 6-iron, maybe a 5-iron would be the longest iron you play, so that would be a 110, 115 kind of distance. Then you'd be going to the 125, 130s with like your 3 woods and your hybrids and the other clubs, and then a dry wood at the 140, 150. But yeah.
Well, at least I could possibly go socially with people who, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I got guys I give lessons to put the ball with a driver 150, 160, and they play off 25 handicap. They can play golf quite comfortably. So yeah, I think for me, once you can get beyond the 100, you can play golf, as in distance.
Yeah.
If you can go past 100 yards, you can break 100 on a golf course, kind of thing. That's kind of like a measurement. Hit the ball further, you can get under 100. So.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Good man. Well, I don't know, have a couple more then, and we'll see how it goes.